Interesting. And then just to congratulate Rinny on the Iron Course distance and her amazing run last weekend. What do you think about the women's running in the Ironman distance sport?
Well, there's not much to say about Rinny's run except she chicked so many guys so badly, just like Gwen does, So, she again comes from that ITU background, not as dominant as Gwen was at all. But in numerous running analyses, it's clear that Mirinda runs very, very differently to most of her competition. She has a long stride length. She has big extension, slightly slower stride rate. Her stride length is much longer, and she has a much more athletic way of running, which suits those faster paces.
Mm-hmm. Great. So let's talk about Gwen for a little bit. Bobby, how long have you been working with Gwen? When did you first meet her?
I think I met Gwen in 2010 when she came to a collegiate recruitment camp down in Colorado Springs. And I was just blown away. We were doing some strides, and she was quite close next to me when we were doing them. And a kid by the name of Caleb Van Oort, who's one of our ITU athletes at the moment, very, very quick. But Gwen had no problem after about 20 meters running me down. But I got her on the pull away. So I've known her for a number of years now.
Oh, great. Gwen, what was your first impression of Bobby when you met him on that day? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that day. I just remember a lot of drills, a lot of things way different than I remembered in the past, just because I'd come from this track background and I hadn't really done that much running even. So I didn't really understand fully what it was, and I don't think it was until this year that I really worked closely with Bobby and actually understood and started to take to heart everything he was telling me.
I find that really interesting because for most people, Gwen, you'd be considered a fantastic runner, and that's how you got noticed originally, right? With the collegiate recruitment program?
Yeah, and I was a good runner from the beginning, but I think my consistency just wasn't there until this year. Sometimes I'd have the best run, sometimes it'd be the 10th fastest run, and I think this year I really had the consistency.
Mm-hmm. And so what was it through your working with Bobby? What kinds of things did he point out to you? If you could just maybe name the top one or two things that you maybe focus on during a race or that you've worked on in training that have helped you.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaways were, Bobby flew into my hometown. I remember sitting right here in the same living room with him, and we went through, he just took my shoes one by one even, was like, I don't know if this is good for your foot or this one, and we found the Noosa Fast shoe. He's like, this is the one you should try to race, and just little things like that. And then we went out and we did a bunch of drills and strength work and technique work that I then worked on throughout the season that really helped.
Great, fantastic. Bobby, what's been your experience coaching with Gwen?
Well, Gwen makes me look good. It's been since the 2004 Olympics when we identified that around about 2016 somebody would run a shade under 29 minutes off the bike. That hasn't happened yet, but we also identified that the woman would be running 32 minutes, and that's boring for Gwen because she's now breaking the 32-minute barrier. So my impressions of Gwen were that my work with her was refinement work. I think one of the big breakthroughs with me was talking to her in a conversation about how she used to train at college and did a set of mile repeats where she couldn't go any faster, but she was going plenty fast enough, and her coach made her do even more than the recommended set, and she just kept repeating those. And it quickly pointed to me the areas where Gwen could improve in. And so we'll probably get into this at a little later stage, but Gwen is a very, very effective heel striker, but her biggest weapon is she's got a massive stride width. She can extend her legs so that her angle is about 97 degrees between her front hamstring and her rear leg. And I've got a lot of older males here in Boulder that now see that photograph showing the extension that Gwen has, and they've now all taken their photographs of Steve Prefontaine and everybody else off their walls, and they put that pic of Gwen up to give you an idea. So, her strength lies, and she's a magnificent rhythm runner. She has a great innate sense of pace, and she loves to run. She really loves to run. When I was up there visiting with her, we went out and we had the most miserable weather, and she had to do a workout with a lot of breaks in between. And she's just grinning the whole time while she was doing the workout, so that didn't put her off at all.
Oh, that's fantastic. We've only just talked about Gwen, and we're going to brag on Kevin for a little bit here in a minute.